tall people speaking so far. It'll work for Mitch too, so don't worry. We've talked a lot already at this convention about shared content and how we need to work smarter and together. Well, I'm going to practice what we preach. My little talk here will be a scaled-down version of something I wrote today for the Detroit Free Press, so I'm sharing my own content. This afternoon, in a ballroom in downtown Salt Lake City, I will have a great honor and an impossible task. My assignment will be to introduce Free Press columnist Mitch Albom as he receives the Red Smith Award, the biggest prize in a journalism career that has been one prize after another. Mitch, who joined the Free Press in 1985, will receive his award during the APSE's annual convention. My peers across the country will be there to applaud him and to hear his insights into sports writing, storytelling, and reporting, the cornerstones that produce all the awards and all the best-selling books. They most certainly do not want to hear me. A few times in my career, I've had the honor of introducing legendary Tigers broadcaster Ernie Harwell, who, as many of you probably know, died last month at age 92. That's like Mario Mendoza batting before Henry Aaron. Each time, I decided I better follow the golden rule of public speaking. Be sincere, be brief, and be seated. But, I know that my peers, being sports guys and gals, will want to hear the stats and the stories and what it's like to be the boss of a legend in our field. Hint, it inspires you. The stats are incredible. 13 times Mitch has won the APSE National Column Writing Contest. His 5 bestsellers have sold more than 28 million copies. His work has been published in 41 territories and in 42 languages. He has the energy of Usain Bolt and the stamina of Frank Shorter. Somehow, at 52, which for the record makes him a pup among Red Smith winners, he can be a full-time sports columnist, host a daily radio show, appear weekly on television, and work constantly on his next book or screenplay. He has founded several charities, including a Hole in the Roof Foundation, which raised more than $70,000 this spring to build bathrooms, showers, and a kitchen for an orphanage founded by Detroiters in earthquake-ravaged Haiti. Mitch led a small team from Michigan that did all that work in a week. I could tell stories about Mitch freezing his you-know-what off while dictating a column from the Iditarod Trail, or trying to find him in 1990 in Malta. Now, this is before cell phones and the internet, to get him to write a column about a fired Red Wings coach, or the time Tigers closer Guillermo Hernandez dumped a bucket of water on his head. Instead, I will tell Mitch stories about 2 people you would never put in the same sentence: Oprah Winfrey and Bill Lambier. Here's why I hate Oprah. Mitch's breakthrough book, Tuesdays with Maury, was a saga of how a dying professor taught lessons on life. You might have heard about that book, seeing as how it became the best-selling memoir of all time. Mitch called me one day in the fall of 1995 and said, "Gene, I need a favor. I usually do not write on Tuesdays, and I want to visit my old Brandeis professor each week. He's dying of Lou Gehrig's disease." My reply: "Sorry to hear that. He must be important in your life. Maybe you will write a column about it sometime." When Oprah's production company made the movie version of Tuesdays with Maury, there was a character that barely appeared in the book: me. Oh, Oprah's folks were clever. They changed my name from Gene to Walter. But Walter was the villain. There was no villain in Mitch's book. But Walter threatened to fire Mitch if he kept visiting Maury instead of attending sporting events. There's one scene where Walter says, "You have to get down to spring training. All this stuff is happening. You can't spend your time with a dying professor." So the day after the movie aired, I received a phone call from my usually sweet mother in Kansas. She roared into the phone, "How could you have been so mean to poor Mitch?" So to this day, as you see right now, Mitch still thinks this is funny. It is. On November 30th, 1993, Mitch helped the Free Press learn that Bill Lambier, public enemy number one on the championship bad boys, would retire the next day. But it was late. Mitch was in the air, somewhere over the Rockies. We call this the column from 40,000 feet. He used one of those clunky old phones tucked in the back of the middle seat. He started dictating, and dictating, and dictating. More than 40 inches worth. Deadline was moments away. He shouted into the phone, "Don't be fooled. Life is not a highlight reel. You are who you are, not by how you look in the warm and cozy lights of a farewell, but by the final tally of every day you lived your life. Most days, to most people, Lambier behaved like a jerk. That doesn't wash off. It stains him even today. No more Mr. Nice Guy. How's that for a farewell headline? Bill Lambier," and then nothing. The line was dead. I started to panic. How do I finish this column? So I go, "Bill Lambier, live happily ever after." Bill Lambier should become the next coach of the Pistons. Bill Lambier should play Fred Flintstone in the live-action movie. I just didn't know. And the seconds turned to minutes. The phone rang. Without missing a beat, his computer out of battery power on the plane, Mitch shouts, "Bill Lambier, fine player, fierce competitor, two-time NBA champion, nonetheless collected his mountain of dislike the old-fashioned way. He earned it. He gets to take it with him as he walks out the door." 5 months later, the column from 40,000 feet helped Mitch win the APSE contest for the 8th straight year. Red Smith famously said, "Writing is easy. All you have to do is open a vein and bleed." Why has Mitch won all these awards and sold all those books? He bleeds every word, every time. And I will tell my fellow sports editors today, if Mitch says anything different in the next few minutes, don't believe him. Congratulations, Mitch.